Good day everyone, my name is Kathleen Mateo and we are the last reporter.
CMC is a generic term now commonly used for a variety of systems that enable people to communicate with other people by means of computers and networks. The development of computers and assistive technology makes electronic communication possible for all individuals regardless of disability. For example, a person who is blind or has a disability that makes reading difficult can use text-to-speech software to read aloud text presented on a computer screen. Changes just over the horizon. Some of the changes to digital communication tools and the way they influence human communication are just around the proverbial corner. We already see the early manifestations of these changes, which the next few years or decades will solidify as staples to our communicative ecosystems. One of the most obvious changes in store for CMC in the near future is the way we interface and interact with communicating devices, and therefore each other. New and emerging technologies are giving us ways to engage with our communication technologies and each other. New ways to experience CMC and new senses we can transmit digitally. Virtual reality. One way the interface of CMC has been changing is through the development and integration of immersive virtual environments. Though virtual reality has been commercially available since the 1980s, recent technological advances have made VR more cost-effective and accessible. It will change the way we experience CMC. No longer will we have to see our interactions as outside of and distinct from ourselves, reading them on a defined screen or hearing them on a disembodied headphone. VR has a potential to change both education and journalism by increasing the immenseness of messages and experience. Medical students could use VR systems to practice surgeries firsthand without concern to danger to patients. Just as tradesmen could learn the fundamentals of welding without fear of burns. Also, the pilots can drive a plane without fearing that they will crash. VR is really something just by thinking the things it can do for humans. Haptics. Haptic communication refers to the use of touch for communication. Handshakes, placing a reassuring hand on someone's shoulder, and high fives are all forms of haptic communication, and it play important roles in social processes. When we say haptics, it is a branch of nonverbal communication. It can help convey messages central to interpersonal perceptions, including intimacy and support. A sense of touch can complement the verbal messages exchanged online. For example, a handshake or a pat on the back. Haptics is the use of touch feedback when you interact with your device. Haptics might include taps, vibrations, and even the sensation of pressing and releasing. Taste and smell. The most challenging senses to transmit digitally and incorporate into RCMC have been smell and taste, which are closely linked. Something's taste is largely influenced by its odor. One reason for the development of gustatory, which is the taste, and olfactory, which is the smell, cues to be transmitted online is the nature of flavors and odors. In other words, the challenge of olfactory communication online may not be transmission but digitization. The biggest challenge to gustatory and olfactory cues in CMC will be the ability to capture and reproduce any flavor or odor, which will require complex input and output devices. Capturing and replicating smell and taste can be challenging, very challenging. ubiquity, and integration. Beyond altering how we interface with digital communication technologies, an additional change whose foreshocks we are already experiencing is the growing ubiquity and perceived omnipresence of CMC. Ubiquity in CMC meaning the CMC is already very common and it appearing almost everywhere. And there are two factors increasing the ubiquity of CMC. The first one is the Internet of Things, which refers to the interconnection of network everybody objects. Internet of Things describes physical objects with sensors, such as vehicles, plant electronic systems, processing ability, software, and other technologies that connect and exchange data with other devices and systems over the Internet or other communication networks. The second one is increasing the ubiquity of CMC will be the expanding capability of networks and digital telephone. Computers no longer tether us to our desks and our smartphones will continue to allow us to take our CMC tools with us. This means that we can carry our work everywhere we want with the use of CMC. We don't need to sit a whole day in front of our desk facing a computer and doing our work. With the use of CMC tools, just like I said a while ago, we can carry our work everywhere if we want it. The perils for future CMC. As these new interfaces and forms of CMC continue to emerge, the future of CMC and human interaction is still in motion. The new devices, programs, and habits of individuals, as we use technologies to communicate with each other, will present us with new challenges and new opportunities. As the CMC continue to emerge, there are also things we need to face. It can be a positive or negative, and it can be also a beautiful opportunity or a hard new challenge in our life. As the CMC continue to emerge, there are also things we need to face. It can be a positive or negative, and it can be also a beautiful opportunity or a hard new challenge in our life. Digital divide. More individuals can access the internet and the digital communication tools and channels it facilitates. But new manifestations of the divide will continue to split humans, separated not based on whether they have access to digital communication tools, but rather how they can use them. When we say digital divide, it is the gap between demographics and regions that have access to modern information and communication technology or the ICT and those that don't have or restricted access. There are three levels of digital divide. The first level, digital divide, refers to differences in access. Who has a digital device or meaningful access to one and who does not. The first level, digital divide, is starting to close, but much progress and accessibility is still needed. As slightly less than 50% of the global population still has no form of internet access at all. The first level digital divide is the economic divide. It refers to inequalities in the possession of computer hardware and access to the internet. It means there are people who can access and there are also who can't access, and it's not equal. Second level digital divide. The second level digital divide is more social and psychological in nature, addressing whether and how individuals use the digital tools they have available. The economic and social disparities of not having internet access cannot be resolved if users do not use their internet access. The second level digital divide is the usability divide. It highlights the importance of use of the digital tools that are available and not who can access it, unlike the first level. And the last one is the third level digital divide. As the presence and impact of the second level digital divide begin to be noticed, the third level digital divide is beginning to make itself known as well. The third level digital divide refers to individuals' engagement with and benefits from using digital communication technology. Like the first and second level digital divides, the third level digital divide seems to be strongly influenced by resources. Individuals with greater financial and personal resources are more able to not only use CMC tools but also to derive benefits from their use. The third level digital device is also known as the empowerment divide. The empowerment divide, however, is the hard one. Even if computers and the internet were extraordinarily easy to use, not everybody would make full use of the opportunities that such technology affords. Because as what said in the first level, there are people who don't have the access to digital tools, and also there are people who lack on skill in using it.
The promises of future CMC. Though the future of CMC comes with the causes for concern, it also brings with the potential for great personal societal benefits. If we use CMC tools carefully, they can be used to make the human condition better. Current development in CMC are already letting us become smarter, more culturally aware, and physically healthier. And developments will likely continue and enhance these benefits. The current development enhance sinasabi is what we're currently experiencing today, like a CMC promise, they will continue to enhance these benefits. Next is increasing the access of information and education. One of the most evident, at least to us students and scholars, promises of CMC in the future is the opportunities can present to enhance our knowledge and our understanding. So as we all know that distance education is not a new concept sa atin. So we see individuals have enrolled through online courses to take classes and engage learning na hindi na kailangan pumasok physically. And so as we experience what CMC promised, students now can easily access like yung mga regarding activities and mga reading assignments na pwede na i-upload, and all activities can be done through online course. And yung mga video lectures na na-upload ng mga profs natin, whether lesson man yan or kung ano, and hindi ba totally transformed since tingin nila ay ito ay global rush due to the pandemic. And however, CMC tools have created new opportunities and directions for accessing and synthesizing and generating knowledge. Next is MOOCs, means Massive Open Online Courses. Under MOOCs or Massive Open Online Courses, this is accredited courses, meaning when you can complete all your needed course, makakatanggap ka ng academic progress towards degree. Next is Bridging Cultures. Under Bridging Cultures, so in additional ways, CMC provides benefits by increasing our daily ability to access, interact with, understanding new cultures. Next is time and space comprehension. So we all know that Americans have a valid passport. Even 2/3 of the citizen cannot go to see, experience different cultures. That's why CMC tools appealing to those matters and experiencing and understanding new cultures by creating a social media where you can follow each one of us. So example is Facebook, Instagram, and many more platforms. So next is no longer constrained by offline physical traits. CMC can reduce these cues to intergroup differences. Text-based communication can make one's appearance or attire irrelevant, and it mostly hides accents and dialects. So increasingly, tools like Google Translate can even help overcome language barriers by helping non-native speakers quickly encode their thoughts into their languages and decode others' messages into their native tongue. Next is telehealth. So by means of may mga doctors ay pwede na mag-send ng text or via email to remind the patients para mag-take ng mga kani-kanilang mga gamot. The last is concluding the future of CMC. So, CMC's future has yet to be written. Some futures computing predictions have come astonishingly close. So last is concluding the future of CMC. So CMC's future has yet to be written. Some future computing predictions have come astonishingly close to becoming correct. Although it is difficult to foresee not just what technologies will emerge, but also how people will use them. The future of CMC will involve the same core human communicative processes that have nourished us and our civilization for millennia. The same basic demands for relationship, organizations, and self-awareness will continue to drive us and be addressed communicatively. My hope is that new technologies will enable us to communicate from greater geographical distances while also bringing us closer together socially. But in the end, we decide how we utilize CMC and how it affects our daily life.